Welcome to this course, where you will learn how to better utilize the IoT Accelerator Service Portal. We will go through the most common use cases for self-service of your IoT subscriptions. You will learn how to better automate your IoT fleet by using triggers, how to find different reports and what they are for, as well as how to administrate your IoT subscriptions. The course is divided into different chapters, so you can easily revisit the course when performing a specific task. You find the subscription inventory under the Inventory tab. In this view, you can see all your subscriptions. This is a searchable view where you can search for specific subscriptions by using the device's identification number, called EMEI, subscription package, or enterprise, just to mention a few options. The list is also possible to filter by clicking Add Filter and choosing the relevant value to filter on. You can change the view presented to you by clicking the three dots to the right in the title row of the table. By clicking one of the tiles, you can sort the table by that column. This can be used to find the subscriptions that have consumed the largest amount of data. Let's click on one of the IMSIs to drill down to subscription level. Now we are zooming in on one subscription. We have access to the information that was shown in the subscription inventory list and a lot more details. Everything specific to the selected subscription. You can choose to set a label on the subscription. This can be used to group your subscriptions and will allow you to filter the inventory list on labels that make sense to you. Under SIM information, you can find out what kind of SIM card is being used. And under Lifecycle, you see when the subscription was first activated. A bit further down, you can see which bearer services that are active on the subscription. This is handled by the subscription package, which the subscription is currently on. You can also see what APNs the subscription can use. From here, you can do some troubleshooting and go into details on traffic volumes. Starting off with the volumes from the previous 30 days. You can quickly spot if there have been days where there have been abnormal use, such as higher usage of data. If you want to limit the time period, simply mark the time span that you want to see. Click Zoom Out to return to the overview. Just below, we find the Last 24 Hours tab. Here you can see if there's an active data session or any open sessions at the moment. You can also see the most recent data used by the subscription. Continuing with the subscription activity in the last 7 days. Each dot in the graph represents an event that has occurred in the time period. Under the graph, you find a table detailing all of the events above. By clicking an event, either in the graph or in the table, you get more details on the selected event. You can see how much data was uploaded or downloaded, and what APN and bearer services was used. At the bottom, you find the History tab. Here you can see all the actions taken on the subscription and who was the initiator of the action. Under Inbox, you find out if there are any disturbances in the service portal at the moment. Also note that if there are any major disturbances, we always do our best to send out disturbance information through email. Under Inbox, you can also find your subscription requests. This shows all orders and requests on enterprise level. You can see placed orders, changes made, etc. You can filter this list by who created the request, status of the request, or the time the request was made. Under Inbox, you also find trigger actions. Here you can see if there have been any triggers activated, and if so, what kind of action was triggered. You can find out more about setting triggers later in this course. In this chapter, you will learn how to utilize triggers to automate actions related to your IoT devices. This will allow you to have a more efficient administration surrounding your IoT solution, as well as enabling proactive actions and prevent unwanted behavior in your devices. You find the trigger management under the Operations tab and choosing Automation. We recommend using the one called Trigger Management, as it contains more functionality than the legacy triggers. In this view, you see an overview of all your active triggers set. Now we are going to go through the different triggers that can be used. Start by clicking Create New. The first choice to make is if the trigger should include the entire enterprise or a specific subscription package. In this case, we use subscription package as our trigger group. Mark the relevant subscription packages and click Next. Now you choose what category your trigger is intended to belong to. There are different categories which you can use for your trigger management, depending on what you are interested in doing. We are going to choose Custom in this example to see what options we have. You have several options of what event should activate the trigger. The first one is device change. Here you can set the if condition that will cause the trigger to activate. A common trigger is if device is changed, or if device doesn't match the assigned device. After setting the condition that should activate the trigger, it's time to choose the action to be taken. There are several actions to choose from. You can, for example, deactivate a subscription or send an email notification. You can also combine several actions by clicking AND. This is useful if you want an event to trigger both the notification and a deactivation of the subscription. Let's look at the other trigger conditions. Below device change, we find the network change option. This type of trigger is used when you want to trigger an action when the SIM changes the network it's using. For example, you can select the if condition to be is a network in Australia. This means that a trigger will be activated when the device starts using any network in Australia. After choosing your criteria for network change initiated trigger, you have the same options for actions as we saw earlier. The next trigger condition is data usage. Here you can set a parameter that initiates an action based on data consumption. If you know that your devices are not supposed to use more than 10 megabytes of data per month, you can set the if statement accordingly. A common use case in this type of trigger is that you combine the action to send an email notification and change the subscription package. This allows you to automatically move your subscriptions to the most suitable subscription package based on the amount of data that the device is using. After choosing the option Change Subscription Package to, you click the List button to see all available subscription packages. If you click the subscription package ID in this view, a new tab will open showing the subscription package so that you can view all details and make sure that you choose the correct subscription package for your trigger. Under SMS triggers, you have the same options as in the data triggers. Now let's have a look at scheduled actions. This gives you the option to set triggers based on time parameters in different scenarios. A use case for this might be if your device comes with a free data usage towards your customers for a specified amount of time. Let's say that your customers should have data included in the service for the first 12 months after activating the product. You can set the trigger to be initiated by time since last provisioning to 12 months and move the subscriptions to another subscription package or send a notification, depending on what suits your business best. The final trigger is network activity. This can be useful to get information if there are devices that are not active in any network. Set the if condition to no probe and CDR events in the amount of time that is suitable depending on the device's normal behavior. You can combine this trigger with an action, such as sending a notification or changing into a more suitable subscription package. Use triggers as a way to automate your fleet management and ensure that your SIMs are behaving as expected without having to manually monitor every device. In the service portal, you can order new SIM cards with just a few clicks. Go into the Inventory tab. Under Subscriptions, you will find Order SIM. If you have access to several enterprises in the portal, you first need to choose which enterprise to order SIMs for. Simply type the enterprise name and choose the right option in the list. The portal will display the SIM specification that you can choose from. Use the radio button to mark the SIM specification you want to order from. Next, you choose the subscription package that you want the subscriptions to belong to. Under Quantity, you choose how many SIMs you want to order. Then you pick the preferred delivery date. You can choose what state the subscriptions should be in from start, either active or deactivated. Note that if you choose deactivated, you will need to go into the service portal to activate the subscriptions before you can start using the SIMs. Select the site where you want the SIMs delivered to and enter your contact details. You are now ready to place your order. When the order has been placed, it will be shown among your subscription requests in the inbox menu. A big part of managing your IoT devices is being able to see what is going on and how they are performing. To do this, we have different monitoring tools, which you find under the Operations tab. Let's start with Traffic Analytics. Set the conditions for your search at the top of the page. We'll use the time period of the last 7 days. press apply to show the data. Now we see some values coming up and also get a reference period to compare with if there are any big deviations between the last 7 days and the 7 days before that. In the information below the graph, we see increases and decreases compared to our reference period. We can filter this view by selecting a specific country. Let's choose Sweden just to see how it changes. Scrolling down, we see more information about what our subscriptions have been doing. We can see where the traffic has been used, both as a graph and as a table to the right. Further down, we have a graph showing the traffic consumption divided on subscription packages. At the bottom, we see a list of our top subscriptions. Let's continue with our analytics tools to go a bit deeper on top traffic subscriptions. Top traffic statistics is found in the same menu as traffic analytics. Click Operation, go into Monitoring and choose Top Traffic Statistics. Here you can see details on the subscriptions that are using the most traffic. You have filtering options where you can choose the time period and number of subscriptions you want to show. Apply the filtering and you will get an overview of your top subscriptions. At the top of this view, you get a summary for the selected period. Scrolling down, you can see your top data subscriptions, top SMS subscriptions, and top countries and networks where the subscriptions have been using data and SMS. If you want to see more details on a specific top subscription, you can click on the MS-ISDN. The graph will change to only show you data on the selected subscription. You can see during what time the traffic was generated and some details about the specific subscription. Heading back to the top subscriptions view, we have another option for how to work with this. By clicking View in Subscriptions, you go to the subscription inventory where the table has been filtered with a batch file matching the top subscriptions. This might be useful if you want to get details on all the subscriptions in the same view, or if you want to take action on more than one subscription at a time. Simply check the box next to the IMSI of the subscriptions that you want to act on and open the Action menu to select what to do with the subscriptions. Choose, for example, Change Subscription Package to move the subscriptions to a package with a higher data bundle. The last part of monitoring that we are going to go through is called Subscription State Information. Go into Operation and select Subscription State Information under Monitoring. The page shows you which state your subscriptions are currently in. The applicable states are active, deactivated, paused, and terminated. These are visible on this graph and in the table below, which also contains information of the max and minimum count on each state, as well as in which period the max or minimum count was reached. The subscription state information can be filtered on Enterprise and Subscription Package. But as the view always shows the current state of the subscription, there is no filtering on time. Let's look at the reports available in the Service Portal. The reports can be a big part of keeping track of your IoT fleet and see what your devices are doing. In this demo, we will go through the most commonly used reports and what you will find in them. Starting off, there are two types of reports. The monthly reports that are published every 30 days and usage data reports, which is generated on a daily basis. Both kind of reports are found under the Reports menu. Let's start with usage data. Choose the dates that you want to see, and if needed, you can filter on Enterprise or Organization, as it's called here. The reports are sorted by date, with the most recent one on top. If you take the most recent data usage file generated, it will contain all the usage data for all the subscriptions from the previous day. This means that the data in a file that was created on the 13th of June will show you the data from the 12th of June. Please note that the usage data files contains one row per subscription and session. This means that if your devices are programmed to disconnect and connect a lot when sending data, the usage data will consist of very large files with many rows. Mark the usage data you want to download by checking the box next to the create date. Download reports will show at the bottom of the page, and you can also see the size of the download. Let's move over to the monthly reports. These are published once a month and contain all the data from the previous month. Just as for usage data, you can limit the reports shown by choosing the dates you want to see. And if needed, you can filter on Enterprise or Organization, as it's called here. We'll start with the traffic report. The traffic report is a consolidation of the usage data reports and will show you all the traffic a subscription has consumed per network for the month. So this report only has one row per subscription and network. The number of rows per subscription equals the number of networks that the subscription has used during the month. If a subscription has only attached to one network, there will only be one row for that subscription. The report will show the total amount of data per subscription and network, as well as the amount of uploaded and downloaded data, respectively. Another useful report is the detailed billing report. This report is a lot more comprehensive than the traffic report. The detailed billing report is basically all the daily reports from data usage bundled up in one report per month. It will show you one row per subscription and session for the entire period. If you have many subscriptions with several connects and disconnects, the report will be very large. This report will not only show you the actual quantity of data that has been consumed, but it will also show the billable amount. There are increments in the network for billing, meaning that the actual amount and billable amount may differ slightly. Thank you for watching this demo of the IoT Accelerator Service Portal. We have gone through how to keep track of your subscriptions and make changes, how to utilize triggers to automate actions, and use monitoring tools and reports to keep track of your IoT fleet. We hope that you will enjoy the features of the service portal and find new ways to improve and automate your IoT solution.